about the Civil War, and some people got the wrong information. For example, if you are a student in the public school system in Virginia today, they've got a textbook out there that says, there were 30,000 African Americans that fought. They loved slavery so much.
Yeah.
30,000 African Americans loved slavery so much, they put on Confederate uniforms, went out and fought alongside their slave master to save slaves. Now, so not only is it that some people didn't get any information, but some people get the wrong information, and they're still getting it today. They're still getting the wrong information. So we're swimming upstream against that, and I think we should stay with that for a minute, because you might ask yourself, why would somebody want to tell that story? Why would they want to? Because I think this goes to what Ta-Nehisi was saying, that people they don't want to come to grips with the horror of slavery, but how awful it was to have enslaved people for so very long. And then by the time the Civil War starts, slavery contributes to 72% of the American economy. And then when slavery ends, America goes through a system of racial discrimination. Racial discrimination, which represses black wages. They take property from black people in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and if you get as Bob Marley's story says, the song says, every time I plant a seed, they say kill it before it grows. Every time you get two nickels to rub together, somebody, the Ku Klux Klan, burn your house down and run you out of the county. So not only and I think people just don't want to come to grips with the horrors of it, and because they don't want to come to grips with the horror, they reinvent the story to tell it another way. They say, well, it wasn't so bad. If it wasn't so bad, people loved it so much they were willing to fight for it. It wasn't so bad. These people loved living in, they were happy eating watermelon on these shade trees, living in these segregated houses. And they wonder where we came from. Those of us who joined the Civil Rights Movement, we were just thankless people who were misguided. And the CIA tried to say we were communist inspired because we were fighting for our freedom. So a lot of it is that. And I think people are just now starting to come to grips with the real world and with the reality of it. And I think for African Americans, the story got so distorted because if you go all the way back, in the beginning, for example, in Andersonville, black people were the first people to go to that Andersonville prison to put flags on the graves of those Union soldiers. We were the first ones to celebrate Commemoration Day, and we stopped when the Ku Klux Klan started night riding and hanging up those Confederate flags, and they turned it into a Confederate celebration. So we were the first ones. We had it right to begin with, and we did it for a long time, and so now we're having to get it right again. And let me just add one last thing before I stop, and that is that this is the real story of America. This is the story. This is the real story. This is the true story, because this is the true story of mankind. It's the story of a people who have been struggling for all of these years and finally get to the point where they can elect an African-American president of the United States. And some people think we overachieved, given the circumstances that we had to overcome. They think we've overachieved. They look at us and say, Ta-Nehisi and Emil and Frank Smith, these people overachieved. How did they ever get where they are today? Well, the reality is that we really are what people talk about when they talk about the American spirit. People who take the circumstances that they have and turn those circumstances into really good and great and wonderful things. And I think the African American community has done that here in the United States, despite all those odds. And it's something we all ought to be proud of, and people should stop reinventing history. Our history is history they should be proud of too.
All right, hold on. What we're going to do, if this was